Welcome.
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 Welcome. Welcome. Welcome. Hi. Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to People's Ford. Or does it have to be just welcome?
So on behalf of my lovely colleagues, hello and welcome to this session today. I'm Jennifer Connolly and I'm the Group Director of People and Development at People's Ford. People's Ford are the largest independently owned Ford dealer group in Europe, and we retail in new passenger vehicles and commercial vehicles. We also retail in all makes of pre-owned vehicles. We've been in business now for around 39 years, and we've got 6 dealerships, 3 of them in the central belt of Scotland and 3 of them in Merseyside. We look after the well-being of around 360 employees. I myself have worked in the motor industry now for around 8 years, and for me I continue to be hugely passionate about investing in people and looking at ways that we continue to engage our employees. For me it's an absolute priority that our people strategy is commercially aligned to our business priorities, and in doing that I can demonstrate the real benefits that having a motivated and loyal workforce can have on a business. In this session I'm going to share with you some of the current initiatives that our business is doing to ensure we're future-proofing our workforce. So before going on to the initiatives, I thought it was really important to cover off some of the stigmas and perceptions that are still today attached to the automotive industry. Despite the industry coming on leaps and bounds, there are still very apparent perceptions which, in my experience, if we don't acknowledge and we don't factor into our people strategy, it can often mean that dealers are on the back foot, whether that be in looking to attract talent or retaining the people that we've got. The automotive industry has still traditionally been considered fast-paced, male-orientated, performance-driven, and a work-hard, play-hard culture. Even today, it's still common that dealerships operate 6-day working weeks. There's still a culture of long hours, 8 p.m. finishes, continuous weekend working, and the lack of omni-channel offerings and the perception that customer interactions can only really be effective if they're face-to-face mean that we've created a culture of presenteeism in automotive roles. As an industry, we'd rather have people work 10-hour long days than accept the fact they could be more productive in a different way of working. And for that, it's meant that automotive in general is still considered to be behind the times in certain aspects. There's still a genuine perception that to be successful in this industry, it's more aligned to males. You've got to work long, excessive hours to be considered a success, and there's still a real apparent lack of career progression opportunities out there. The reality for us as a dealer group is that this is no longer the case, and it doesn't exist within our business, and hopefully some of the initiatives that I'll talk about will explain what we're doing to overcome this. Before going on to these, I thought it was also really important to touch on the impact that COVID had for the industry, because it really did act as a catalyst for the industry in propelling it into a more people-focused and flexible approach to the way that we target business. So whilst pre-COVID, as a business, we were already looking at a people strategy to ensure we stayed ahead of the market and workforce trends. But COVID really did overnight make us reevaluate our business. The motor industry, as we knew it, had to change because those face-to-face interactions simply weren't possible. For us as a business, we had to look at new technologies. We had to look at the people skills that we needed. And we had to overhaul every part of our business to address the gaping hole which COVID had resulted in. The major learnings for COVID which have shaped our workforce strategy approach have been driven predominantly by the employee turnover stats we've had and also from the feedback from our teams. And I'm sure what I'm going to say will mirror a lot of other businesses out there. In 2020, as you might expect, our employee turnover was significantly lower. But that was simply because COVID had created such an uncertain market, people were nervous to move roles. As we started to analyse our turnover and employee feedback after COVID, it became apparent that the reason for people leaving our business had really shifted. And while salary predominantly used to be the main factor in people looking for other roles, it simply wasn't anymore. For us, there were 3 key learnings of COVID. Work-life balance to our employees had never been more important. The creation of omni-channel communication and the accessibility of it, both in terms of customers and in colleague interactions, was something that we needed to embrace. And the priorities and job satisfaction motivators for our colleagues had genuinely changed. They were now talking to us about work-life balance, about more flexibility, progression, and feeling valued. And for us, these were things that we needed to embrace as a business. So in terms of the reality, when looking at what our new strategy was going to be towards people and retention, we wanted to address 3 key areas that we still feel affect the automotive industry today. For us, there continues to be a lack of understanding of the career opportunities that are available within the industry. We've got attraction gaps in getting people into sales roles. And we face skills gaps, both with regard to the recruitment of technicians, but also skills gaps in the market that the electric vehicle progression in the future looks like. So having acknowledged some of these, I'd like to talk about some of the initiatives that we as a business are doing to combat them. The first one for us is our flexible working and flexible thinking approach across the group. And I know that in a lot of other industries, this is something that's just common practice. But for the motor industry, it really is a shift. Flexible working approaches and considerations are now simply a fundamental part of our business. Whether it's technicians who want to reduce their hours or change their shift pattern so that they can pick their kids up from school, ignoring these requests nowadays for us would be absolutely detrimental to our business. In the last couple of years alone, we've had technicians who've asked to drop to a 3-day working week, because whilst they don't feel ready to retire, they simply want to spend a bit more time with their family. And for us, why would we want to lose their knowledge, experience and skills simply because Monday to Friday is now off the table? Don't get me wrong, we can't accommodate every single request that comes in. But we're genuinely asking one question as a business. Can we balance the needs of our employees while still making sure that our business needs are met? This approach has been a massive mind shift for our managers, but we're under no illusion. To not move with the times, to not have these conversations and look at what is possible means we're going to lose some of our fantastic people. In our sales business, we've operated a 5-day working week now for a number of years. Our sales team probably work around about a 38 working week. I think there's still a consideration out there that to be in sales, you have to do 50, 60, 70-hour weeks. There's no late night finishes anymore in our business. And again, we can offer flexibility for those who perhaps want to do the school drop-off in the morning before coming in. For us in doing this, it genuinely has fostered a supportive culture. And it's made us much more attractive, particularly in our sales roles, to those who probably still associate us as having long, inflexible hours. Leading on to sales, the next initiative that we launched is our trainee sales executive package. Now, for a number of years, we've taken a conscious approach to move away from looking to attract people into sales that are from a traditional automotive background. For us, you can teach someone how to sell a car. You can't necessarily teach them the right behaviours or those personalities that we're looking for. And this decision was underpinned by a genuine desire to bring in new opinions, different perspectives into our workplace. However, in doing so, it became apparent to us that sales is not attractive in the automotive industry, either for those who are looking to start out their career or those who maybe want to change career. And a lot of that has been fostered by the fact that there's still this culture of performance-driven, male-orientated, long working weeks. For us, we want to recruit people based on having the right personality. And to do this, we need to make sure we've got a wide and varied range of individuals, whether that's in their background, their experience, sex, age, race. Our trainee sales programme has worked really well in bringing new people from different industries into the business. However, earlier this year, it was raised to us the fact that there were some concerns over the rewards package that was associated with it. Sales roles are traditionally focused on low basic salaries with high earnings potential on commission. And what was fed back to us was that whilst the induction process and the support that we had in place to train these people in the automotive industry, the fact that their earnings were so unstable and from month to month they didn't know what they would make was making it less attractive. From taking on this feedback, we changed it, literally overnight. We came together as a group and we looked at what was needed to give these people the time to grow and develop within a sales industry. We changed their basic. We made it significantly higher, with the sole purpose of allowing them to concentrate on immersing themselves within the role, within our business, from learning from other people. And in turn, that took the pressure off them to feel that immediate need to have to sell to customers to make their earnings. And for us, it's been a game changer. We've currently got a number of colleagues on this programme, all of whom are flourishing. And by removing that pressure for them to have to sell straight away, it's given our new recruits the chance to absorb and grow within the industry. The next one that I wanted to talk about was getting the message out there that there are transparent and genuine career pathways within automotive across all departments. We're committed to addressing the perception, which still exists externally, that there's no development opportunities, no career opportunities within the business. For us as a business, we've got some great examples. Our group sales director joined us as a valeter in the summer holidays, and 30 years later is still with us. We've got an absolute wealth of technicians who started their careers as apprentices, and they're now the backbones of our workshops, whether that's the senior technicians, master technicians, or mentors for the generation of the future. The average length of service in our group is fantastic. We've got people with 10, 15, 20, 30 plus years of experience, and this ranges across all departments. For us, these are real life examples of what you can do within the industry and how you can grow. As a silly example, we do a weekly shout out, simply to say thank you to anyone that's got a work anniversary. And believe me, if we miss a colleague off of that shout out, they're the first one to call us out on it. That tells me that those little acts of recognition are making a difference in the workplace. We're really proud of our teams, of the mix of age, experience. We've got highly tech-savvy employees who are upskilling some of our perhaps employees who are used to more traditional methods. And likewise, they're sharing with them their wealth of knowledge in the industry over the years. When I'm talking about roles within our business, it often surprises people that our technicians' salary earnings can be £60,000 plus a year. Add into that the fact that they can progress to go into management, to go into marketing, to go on to be a mentor. There really are no ceilings, but this is something that we're not shouting about enough within the industry. Technician roles are highly skilled professions. They're automotive engineers, and we need to be getting that across, whether that's at school level, college level, and throughout the recruitment campaigns that we're doing. We had a fantastic technician who joined us before moving on to repair commercial airlines. And whilst we were really gutted that he left, the fact that he was doing his dream job with skills that we had taught through our business is something we're really proud of. A lot of people don't know that our Ford Master technicians have got direct lines of communication to the Ford technical team in Dunton, which is the largest research and development facility in the UK. And again, this is something that we're promoting out there to encourage more talent into our business. As a business, we've had to embrace the use of online platforms for learning and development. But at the same time, we made the conscious effort to coach our teams and to understand the value of what they could get from these platforms. Ford, as our manufacturer, has a great learning platform, and it's allowed us to create career pathways. What that in turn has done is given us the opportunity to get our teams to take control of their own learning and development. It's no longer something that's led by my department or forced upon them by their managers. There are transparent development opportunities out there that they can take ownership of, and that they are. This transparency, both internally and shouting about some of the career progression opportunities externally, will continue to be one of the key focuses for us. Leading on from career pathways, it'd be silly of me not to talk about our investment in apprenticeship programmes. It may seem like a really obvious one, but it absolutely underpins our future workforce strategy. We've got apprentices in all of our workshops, at every location, as well as a training and a recruitment plan, which means that when our year ones go into year two, we start the recruitment process all over again. For us, recruiting apprentices is just as important as recruiting experienced technicians. They are the future. And through Ford's apprenticeship programme, at the end of it, they now come out as qualified electric vehicle technicians, which is a skill set we need to upskill our teams on. Our apprenticeship programme is about genuine investment and commitment to the future generation. To support this, we've got mentors in each of our workshops to make sure from the day one our apprentices are nurtured and looked after. We also have them as people's employees from day one. For us, there is no question of whether or not they'll be made a permanent member of staff at the end of their apprenticeship. We invest in them from day one, And for us, we have significant success and loyalty from them in doing so. But we don't just have workshop apprentices. We look at everything, upskilling our teams across every department, whether that's people who want to progress to IMI, to ATA, or whether colleagues simply want to do their SVQ, a postgraduate diploma, or honours degrees. We support them all. And in doing that, and in recognising the fact that people do want that opportunity to develop, again, this is one of the key pillars for making sure that we've got a workforce of the future. So I've spoken about the fact that we have a great apprenticeship programme. And through Ford Motor Company and SkillNet, they provide a number of our current apprenticeships. But for us, we've gone one step further. We took the decision to proactively partner with training providers in our local communities, whether that be local schools, colleges, education providers, employability support initiatives. For us, we wanted to get out there and reach a wider and untapped group of individuals, but also simply to give back to our local communities. For us so far, this has proven to be a real success. We've got some really strong relationships with local colleges, who, upon meeting with them and talking about some of the challenges they faced, it became apparent that for their students, there were frustrations out there. For the colleges that provide introduction to automotive skills or level 2 automotive courses, whilst they can provide that knowledge and theory within the college, the challenge for students upon graduating was a catch-22. They didn't have any physical, real-life experience of working in a garage or a dealership, and therefore no one would take a chance on them. So for us, we've partnered with 2 colleges north and south of the border to offer a placement. So we do an intake of college students. And in that placement, 2 days per week, they come into our garage and they're paired with one of our experienced technicians. What that means at the end of the placement and when they graduate from college is they can put on their CV that they have some tangible experience within a workshop. Doesn't necessarily mean that they come and work for us at the end of it, but it's our way of giving back and really getting our name out there that we want to invest in the future generation. The next one I wanted to touch on was our focus on communication and that ability to make our employees feel valued, which is something that post-COVID we've heard more and more through feedback sessions with them. If you go online today and search technician vacancies, you're going to be inundated with adverts. The competition amongst employers has never been more apparent. And for us, making sure that we have a communication strategy that makes our employees feel valued is really important to us. One of the key tools that we've used to improve our communication is we've adopted a communication platform loosely based on the way that Facebook works. And it was rolled out to our entire group in early 2020. For us, the platform has got one key purpose. We want to improve communication across our business at every level of our business. We've got a superb team of managers who understand that ignoring niggles amongst team members is now no longer something they can do. But for us, we wanted to go one step further and make sure that employees have a direct voice. They can raise suggestions, they can ask questions to any person within our business. In promoting this culture of feedback, it's enabled us to identify training opportunities that we didn't even know our teams wanted. So for example, on our communication platform, we have an ideas and suggestions group. And within that, one of our sales team posted to ask if they could have deaf awareness training to allow them to better empathise and support with customers that they may be dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Again, this is training that we hadn't necessarily considered, but through those relationships we have with our local colleges, we worked with them quickly to design a training offering that allowed those who wanted to take part in it the ability to be upskilled. Our communication strategy and platform is designed simply to break down those barriers, whether it's geographical in terms of dealership locations, departmental engagement, or across any levels within our business. We want to increase the engagement and communication, whether that's my team delivering something that's of importance that everyone needs to know, or simply shouting out some success stories that we've got. For us, the ultimate goal is to ensure that we've got everyone within our business who feels as though they're part of one team. Whilst communication is the key driver, we also wanted to allow people, regardless of role, to understand the human element of our business, whether that be who their director is, members of a management team, or any level. It's really helped us to flatten out our hierarchical structure. When we get 5-star customer reviews, we post them. Our directors say thank you. Our management teams congratulate their teams. Again, it doesn't sound something that's overly complicated, but it goes a long way in recognising the great employees that we've got. Understanding the personal drivers for people in our business has been a game changer. We had an employee who recently had to deal with a deeply personal family issue, and in turn who wanted to raise money for the charity that had supported them. One post, and he raised awareness across the whole group. The engagement and the support and the donations and the thank yous that it generated was unbelievable. For us, we use it to recognise random acts of kindness, to say thank you. Our service advisors use it regularly to post pictures of the cakes and treats that customers have given to them, simply for doing their job. And for us, we'll continue to use it in our future strategy to make sure that our communication across the whole group is as strong and transparent as possible. The final initiative I wanted to talk to you about was how we've collaboratively embraced new technologies. Again, a lot of these have been due to COVID. Some of them are simply in an ever-evolving world. But what the technologies have done is they've prompted us to really think about how we roll these out to workforce. There have been massive changes in our industry. The horizon and reality of an electric vehicle market is not something of the future. It's here, and it's now. And for us, identifying those who can and also who want to move away from traditional internal combustion engines to electric vehicles is not without its challenges. We probably could be forgiven for thinking we just put forward our most experienced technicians into the new training for electric vehicles. But we needed to be mindful it's daunting. The changes in technology are huge. It's simply no longer the case that because you're an experienced car technician, you can suddenly take on this new skill set. So for us, rather than fall into the trap of assuming that our colleagues and our teams naturally were comfortable in taking on new skill sets, we sat down with them, we communicated with them, we explained to them what future changes were coming, why we felt that they were the right person to take that next step forward. And in doing so, we've reassured our business that we're already identifying the skills gaps. We're already working with our teams to make sure we've got the right people to take us into the future. I mean, today we're asking technicians to film videos for customers. We're asking our sales teams to conduct a sales process with a customer via WhatsApp, FaceTime, or Zoom, without ever physically having to see them. Whilst these platforms have really enabled our customers to communicate with us in the way that suits them best, and which is fantastic, it's added an additional layer for us to consider when we're thinking about recruiting our teams for the future. I spoke earlier about presenteeism. For us, that's now been replaced by seeking out people who've got confidence in presenting skills, who've got confidence in taking on new skills, who can adapt to change, who can build rapport with our customers in non-face-to-face interactions. And making sure that we've got a workforce that feel included in the changes in technology for us is hugely important. So of all the initiatives that I've spoken about, there's one simple message for us. We have to put our people first. Our people strategy and putting them first, whether that be an investment, valuing, or just listening to them, is fundamental to our strategy of future-proofing our workforce. It's a non-negotiable for us. To do this, we need to make sure we've got a workforce who are motivated and who are engaged not just with the current role that they're doing, but with any future aspirations that they may have. And for us, as I've said, showing that human element of our business is a key pillar in both our communication and our internal people strategy. A lot of people today coming into the marketplace have never been more concerned with what does this business stand for? What are their values? What are their people saying about the business? And for us, we wanted to address that. So to do this, in line with some of the initiatives I've spoken about, we asked our colleagues to answer some simple questions. We filmed them with a vision of simply putting together a video which says what it means to work for us as a business. And I wanted to share the finished article with you, I guess to put some context into some of the themes that I've spoken about so far. Also, just to let me catch my breath as well.
My name's Megan.
Xander.
Natalie. Stephen Hanks.
Elizabeth Imogunja.
My name's Darren.
Matt.
Sharon.
Ken Garner.
Feroz. My role is a sales executive.
Group warranty manager.
General sales manager.
A technician.
Accounts department.
Social media manager.
And I have been with People's
3 years.
12 years.
15 years. 33 years.
2 years.
8 years. No, I've not.
36 years this year.
Just straight off like.
The 3 words I'd probably use to describe the culture is
Easygoing.
Family.
Professional.
Inclusive.
definitely fast-paced
Diverse. Challenging.
Warm.
and enjoyable.
What I like most about people is
The people.
People I work with.
The people.
The pay.
It's the people that are here. The culture. Family culture.
it's a family-friendly business.
Being part of the people's family. 100%.
My favourite Ford car, XR3i.
Ford Ranger.
The Escort.
The C-Max. Boring, I know. But
The Mackie.
Probably Mustang.
No. Wait there. I've just lied. It's because it's right behind. I thought, you know what, Mackie.
Ford Cougar. All the Focus RSs.
Shelby Mustang.
And they are beautiful.
I'd say that we put dreams in driveways. Fix cars and sell them. Look after our customers.
we keep people moving.
We sell cars. Make people happy.
I would describe my role as
Satisfying.
Rewarding.
Fast. Quite hands-on.
Different. Exciting.
creative
Challenging.
Communication.
Fast-paced.
Technical.
and enjoyable.
The thing that makes me proud to work for People's is
That People's is a family business.
we've got such a good reputation, and I'm actually part of that, and I'm contributing towards that.
There's the fact that we always put our customers first.
I think it's down to the trust that the company believes in you to progress.
Because it is a good company, and I enjoy working for them. I don't know how many years we're going to be here.
It's just how we treat customers, people's culture, the way they look after you.
We've all got such different personalities, but we all work amazingly together. And I think seeing everyone's different personalities makes it, you know, the company what it is. So yeah, just be yourself.
Yeah, couldn't help myself.
I wanted to share that video simply, I guess, to give a flavour of the types of people, the behaviours and the feedback that we have that will drive our business forward. I didn't bribe any of them, I promise, that's genuinely what they felt. The values of those who took part really are aligned to those of our business and our people-first approach, which underpins our ongoing strategy. People want to know what a business stands for, and for those coming into the employment market for the first time, they're much more likely to choose an employer whose values align with their own. We've used this video internally to remind our people of exactly what our focuses are, but also externally in recruitment campaigns to get in front of people that perhaps haven't considered our industry before. For us, we've got an ongoing commitment to growing a diverse and future-proof workforce. And for us, it's not about being seen to be diverse. It's about ensuring that all of our activities, from marketing to employee initiatives and recruitment strategies, are geared around attracting the best, appealing to every single individual, and using real and authentic people to promote our values to our communities and beyond. Customers have got so many options these days, whether it be from different dealers, manufacturers, or the range of varying platforms they can use to communicate with us. We need to make sure our workforce are accessible to reach every individual. Our marketing activities are geared towards people of all walks of life, and that's exactly what we want to have in our recruitment campaigns and in our workforce as it continues to grow. The People's People video is designed simply to give individuals an insight into the great success that you can have working within our business. When talking about diversity, it's something that the motor industry probably still is behind the times on in certain areas. I still read articles to this day that talk about the lack of women in leadership roles, the lack of women in automotive, the fact that the automotive industry is not supportive of attracting different people. I spoke about the stereotypes at the beginning of this presentation. These are all stereotypes that we need to work together to break down. I'm really proud of the progress that we've made in our business. We've got strong female leaders, strong heads of departments, and managers across our business. But the next stages for us is to make sure that we continue to grow this talent. And to do that, we need to make sure we're removing the biases that continue to exist. It's not supportive for a younger generation. It's not supportive in getting in front of those who maybe haven't considered the automotive industry. And for us, we need to continue to work closely with local communities, schools, careers fairs, recruitment campaigns that identify those and tap into the market who perhaps haven't decided on a career or perhaps were unaware of the opportunities within the automotive industry. For us, we've got an absolutely fantastic example to follow internally. Our Group Operations Director and Managing Director of our operational board was appointed at Ford's request to the Dealer Council Board of Ford of Europe. And she works closely with our directors based in Ford Motor Company's headquarters in Detroit. She has worked with us for 29 years, and she is a genuine, real-life example of the career opportunities that are available within our business. So I've covered off some of the initiatives that we're focusing on, all of which are centred around our people. But we know as a business we can't stand still. We're continually looking at future plans and ways of investing within our people, whether that's us looking at trends or us asking our people for feedback. Our commitment remains a simple one. We want to treat our customers like family, and family to us means bringing people together, both our colleagues, our customers, and our communities. We want to continue to recognise the individual and collaborative contribution that our workforce make, and in doing so, keeping them involved in any decisions. We'll continue to focus on a range of platforms, on people-driven initiatives, to ensure that we're genuinely and effectively engaging with our workforce. Our focus will be in getting in front of as many people as possible, of making sure we've got recruitment campaigns that target everyone, of making sure we're shouting about the success and opportunities within our business, but ultimately in making sure that people are first for us, which is quite good considering people's is in our name. So thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. By all means, if anyone has a question, please do put your hand up. I've got a couple to start with, Jennifer. Something that struck me, you mentioned earlier about the kind of changes in the industry. We know about digitalisation and EVs coming, and you talked about building confidence in the workforce. And then watching the video, it's clear that building confidence and having fun at work is such an important thing for the group. Tell us a little bit more about how you kind of engage that, some examples of what happens.
So I guess for us it sounds quite simple. It's remembering that everyone is human. I think COVID in particular really brought us together as a business and really forced us, I guess, to have these discussions with our employees about what was important to them. And yet we spend so much time in work. Having a nice environment might sound a little bit pink and fluffy, but actually if we can just make it a little bit more fun. So for example, on a Friday morning, if the service workshop has hit their target for the month, baking rolls, going out and doing a bowling night afterwards, but really just seeking that feedback from our teams, because everybody is an individual. And I guess stop our focus on stop trying to assume that one initiative perhaps will work for everyone has probably been a really important change for us.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier, and just then again, about employee feedback. What processes do you use within the business to gather that? Is it an informal thing? Or is there a whole process around that?
There's a range of different platforms now. I guess the thing that we benefit from is we have 6 dealerships. So there is absolutely no reason why our senior team can't visit each of them, can't actually get into the workshops or out there to talk to people. The communication platform that we use, as I say, it's very similar to Facebook. That for us has been a huge one. And I guess the way I know it's been a success is that people at every level are using it to ask questions. It's really hot today. Can we get ice creams? Can we have shorts in the workshop? I watched Undercover Boss last night. Can we consider doing a bit of a switch up? That tells me they feel comfortable enough to engage. And every single person within our business is on that platform. And we use it as well from everything of people who run marathons, just to say well done, people who get married. But our chairman also uses it to give communications out there that he wants to make sure the message isn't diluted. So sometimes he'll do a live broadcast so that he can know every single person within our business is hearing the exact same message. So that platform in itself has been huge in our communication strategy.
Okay, fantastic, thank you. Any questions from the floor at the moment? We do have a microphone available if anybody wants to ask a question? Yeah, the man in the shirt there. Microphone's just coming to you.
Hello, David. David Southgate, Southgate Consulting. I'm just really interested to know whether you're, in your business, able to transition people from outside the industry into senior management roles. So when we're into career search and assignments, a lot of people will say they will consider candidates from outside the industry, but usually default to actually choosing a shortlist which is industry specific.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think it's a great point to touch on, and we in the past would have been guilty of. There's almost a mindset that if you're not from automotive, you'll never last. And yeah, I've probably been guilty in the past of interviewing people and thinking, oh wow, you're fantastic and you're saying all the right things, but this industry would just eat you alive. But we need to change our mindset. And when talking about, bringing in different people of different opinions, particularly we've been doing that within our sales roles, and that's at sales management level as well. But we need to get out of the mindset that if you've not worked in automotive for the last 30 years, you're not going to be capable, because actually a lot of the skills that we're now looking for, I don't want a sales manager who has been in the business for 40 years and who still thinks it's okay to shout and scream when things don't go his way and doesn't have those people skills. But for us as a business, it probably just means we need to go one step further and investing in the induction and training plans for those out with the business. But they can be a success. I've only been in the industry for 8 years. Everybody has to come into it from somewhere, and I think if they've got the right personality and behaviours, it's really naive if dealer groups out there are still switching off to those candidates simply because on paper, they don't have that automotive background that they think that they want. It's not without its challenges, but
Thank you. Any further questions from the floor? Just here, down the front, the lady here, please. Just here. Thank you.
Hi there. It sounds like a really great place to work, first of all. And one thing that I work with my clients on is about being values driven. But how do you, I guess, instill those values in the organisation and prevent them from just being some fancy words on a wall?
Well, it's a very interesting question. So we are about to roll out our values, part of which were based on the video that people have put together. And the reason I haven't articulated them up until now is because for me, values are not stuck on a wall. There is a huge culture shift that really needs to happen in order to bring them to life. Putting people first is one of the key values that we have. And I guess a lot of the background work we've done over the last couple of years, whether that be with our managers and a lot of the soft skills that are needed, what processes are getting in the way, how are we making sure our people can ask for suggestions, feedback. I think culturally you need to do that part first before we can really embed the values. And I think even when we're about to roll them out, there's a lot of it that's going to be very structured so that every single day, our values are not overly complicated, but we need to remind people of what they sound like, what they look like, what they feel like. We need to make sure our managers are confident in having those conversations every day, because again, for managers maybe that have always managed a particular way for the last 10, 15 years, it's a real mindset change for them. But I guess that communication piece and making sure that we are listening to people, it will be vital for us going forward.
Any further questions at this point? I'm interested to hear, Jennifer, are there other industries that you look to for inspiration? What industries? I mean, you said in your presentation about the kind of traditions of motor retail that it's making a lot of progress, but there's still some catching up to be done. But who can we look to for inspiration?
Oh, that's a question. Probably we look at, or for me, I look at best practices across a range of industries. For us, customer experience is key. The sales process in itself, customers no longer come into our dealership looking to browse. They know exactly what they want. They effectively just want to know that the person in front of them is someone that they can trust and that will listen to them. So looking at industries, I guess, that put customer experience at the heart of everything that they're doing is important for us. But research regularly, different businesses within people strategies, and that can be really small businesses, American-based businesses. But it would probably be really easy to just pick one business and go, well, we're just going to mirror exactly what they're doing. Authentically, that's not going to fit for us. But definitely those that are putting customers at the heart of everything would be the ones that we would look to make sure if there's little snippets that they're doing differently. And as I said, as a business, we're very agile. If something isn't working within our departments, we can come together and change it really quickly, which is something that I'm hugely proud of.
Yeah, I suppose. Look, I mean, to my mind, looking at the high street and and the hotel industry, both have been significantly disrupted by digital, and there probably are kind of lessons from there that can be learned as well, the way that they've adapted their businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. The hotel industry is an interesting one because we have a director who will regularly give his card out when he's staying in hotels. If someone's given him that level of service. And they'll look to go, cars, the automotive industry, because even though a lot of the skill sets and the focus that hospitality has, again, we've got that barrier where people don't seem to think that it translates into automotive. The sales team that are on this trainee program, thinking about their backgrounds, some of them are furniture sales, some of them have worked in Pizza Express, a range of different places, but fundamentally, I think if you're recruiting for people based on behaviours, we can upskill the rest of that. So industry-wise, there really aren't any industries that we wouldn't want to, if they've got the best talent, we want them in our business.
Yeah, fantastic. And just looking back at, you mentioned flexible working, and COVID, if anything, I guess was a reset for a lot of people in terms of kind of balancing their priorities, their home life and their work life. And you said about particularly with technicians. Tell us how that plays out, given that we know that the industry is crying out for more technicians. There's a widely publicised shortage of enough technical staff. So how do you balance that with actually then giving them the freedom to negotiate kind of changes to their working contracts when ultimately you have jobs to do, ramps to fill, and workshops to keep busy?
Absolutely, and the technician one is probably, it's one of the roles that's much harder to be able to look at that flexible approach, because as you've said, other than us potentially opening our workshops 24 hours a day to accommodate everything, there's some things that aren't feasible. The mindset definitely was with managers, and I think the nervousness when we first started to approach flexible working, particularly with technicians, was there was this perception it was going to open the floodgates. Oh, but if I allow Jimmy to come in at that time, or if I allow them to switch from a Tuesday to a Saturday, everybody's going to want that. And yeah, I guess it was a risk that we took, but it didn't indeed happen. So we've got technicians that start at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, as part of that, they need to demonstrate to us that we can trust them, and that when they come in, the basics, they're capable of coming in, they've pre-picked their jobs the day before, they know exactly what they're going to be doing before the rest of the business filters in. Technicians that didn't want to do Saturday rotas anymore. Technicians who wanted to go to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, as I'd said, the examples of those that didn't want to retire. We can't do them all, but I guess we ask people what it is that they're looking for. Some of them want to have a shorter lunch break. Some of them actually have gone the complete opposite way and have said, I want to do a longer working week. Like earning just now for me is really important. I want to work a 44-hour week and I want to do... So it works both ways. But I guess for us, it's about having those conversations and then doing the balancing act of going, could that work in our workshop? What support do we need? Well, actually, yeah, that would work. This wouldn't work, but here's what we're thinking. And having those conversations regularly. So if you were to ask me now the number of shift patterns that we've got in our technicians, I couldn't answer the question because they're all just tweaked and tailored to the individuals, which, as you've said, in the absolute shortage of technicians that we've got within our job market, losing somebody because we can't offer that level of flexibility is just crazy in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the more painful issue, I guess, if you don't. So
yeah.
Fantastic. Any further questions? Oh, the lady here. Could we have a microphone down the second row from the front here, please?
So, how do you handle succession planning into senior management? What sort of leadership role progression have you got?
So, progression from our senior managers to leaders. Yeah, it's something that really is having to be embedded within our business. So there's also, I guess, particularly in the motor industry, there's the old school tradition of you were a great technician, so now you're going to be a service manager. And the gaps that we've had, and particularly in my experience since coming into the business, have been in those soft skills. So, you know, we've got these lovely posters and quotes that people like to do on, you know, the difference between a manager and a leader, but actually talking to people about what that means. So we've got a number of different approaches. Internally, we do a lot of upskilling and training and development programs with our managers or those of the future that we've identified. But we also work really closely with Ford Motor Company, who the soft skills element, the communication, the team building element of it is a massive focus for them. So they offer some really structured workshop and career progression paths. And then we've also got some really good relationships and support from our local colleges. So whether it's SVQs in management, or we've got a couple of service advisors who are doing an apprenticeship in team leadership. It's working out, I guess, where the gaps are and also what our people want, because forcing somebody into a role, as I've said, you know, the technician roles are a great example. We've got highly experienced master technicians that we automatically go, right, we want you to be our EV specialist. And actually you talk to them and that's not where they see their career going. So it's really identifying individually and then looking at what those plans are. We don't do a kind of grow model where we make sure everybody, we do it much more on a personal basis, and for us certainly it seems to be having success.
Fantastic. Question at the back, please.
Yeah, hi Jennifer, sorry if I missed it earlier, but what tech do you use to engage and communicate this fast moving?
So the platform we use is called Workplace. So effectively it's the business aspect of Facebook, and we picked it specifically because 80% of our workforce already knew or were kind of familiar with Facebook, and therefore having something really simple but one that we could still get key messages out there and allow employees in turn to post and ask questions and comment and put pictures on. For us it was the most obvious one, and I can't stress enough, it has been an absolute game changer for us as a business. And there was almost a nervousness when we started to use it, of employees maybe saying something we didn't want to hear. But actually, see if they feel comfortable enough to say, well, I'm really annoyed that today you didn't consider this. That tells me then they feel comfortable enough to get their message out to the whole group. So, and I touched on earlier, it's no more complicated than a thank you post every Friday for anyone that's had a work anniversary. And our chairman and managing director absolutely jumps all over the post, thank you, and calls out little personal stories that he remembers of those people. And it does go a long way, because if I miss somebody off that list, I'm not Mrs. Popular for the next week. And it's just a way of making sure that we break down those barriers with regards to communication, both on kind of understanding the personal drivers and elements of our business, but also on getting those key messages in front of the right audiences.
Fantastic, thank you. I think we can take one last question if there's any more. If not, we will wrap up there. Everybody happy? Okay, thank you. Everybody please show your appreciation for Jennifer Connolly of People's Ford.